Have you heard of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa? In his own lifetime, people didn't just respect him. They worshipped him as God. But this God had a curious habit. He would be speaking to a hall full of devotees, immersed in the divine, and suddenly say, "Just wait, I'll be right back." Then he'd walk inside and ask his wife, "What's cooking today?" His wife, Sharada Devi, was often embarrassed by this. She once said, "Even I'm not so obsessed with food. People see you as a divine being and you're chasing lunch." But Ramakrishna just smiled and said, "All right." But still, what's cooking today? She couldn't understand it. Why would a man of such spiritual stature, one who had touched the absolute, care so much about food? Then one day he explained, he said, "The day you bring food to me and I show no interest, know this, I have only 3 days left." And he was right. 7 years passed. Then one afternoon, Sharada brought him his usual plate of food, the thali. He sat on his swing, looked at the plate, and turned away. Sharada burst into tears. She remembered his words. 3 days later, he was gone. Why food? Why this strange attachment to something so trivial? Because he wasn't attached at all. In truth, he had no interest in food or body, or even life itself. But he used food as a conscious desire, a kind of anchor to keep himself bound to the body. Because if that desire disappeared, so would he. Every day he kept himself grounded through small wants. Food wasn't a craving, it was a trick, a way to tell his spirit, "Not yet, stay." You see, for realized beings, leaving the body is easy. It's not death, it's a conscious exit. They simply recognized, "This is not me, I no longer need to carry it." That's why historically many yogis, especially those on the path of bhakti, leave the body young, 28, 32, 36. Because once realization strikes and there's no worldly mission left, they simply just set the body down, like a robe no longer needed. So what is enlightenment? People often think it's a mystical light show, a psychedelic burst of energy. Some even advertised it in California during the 60s. 25, get enlightened in an hour. But enlightenment isn't about experiencing something new, it's about recognizing something fundamental. That what you've always called me, this body, this mind, is not you. Right now, you're experiencing a piece of earth, your body, as myself. But this is madness, isn't it? If I start calling this cup me, you'd recommend a psychiatrist. But isn't this body just another object dug from the earth? Just because everyone is confused the same way doesn't make it truth. Truth is not a vote. Existence is not democratic. What is. What is not. So when a mystic realizes experientially, "I am not this," they may choose to walk away from the body. Unless they have a reason to stay, like Ramakrishna did. He stayed. For the sake of those who came to him, he held on with a spoonful of food and a heartful of love. In the end, realization can happen in a moment. But to stay in the body after that with awareness requires understanding the mechanics of life itself. That's not instant. That takes work. That takes lifetimes. So yes, Ramakrishna was divine. And yes, maybe a little mad about food, but it was all part of a deeper intelligence. One that knew exactly when to stay and when to go.